I have two friends joining us now who understand the markets way better than I do, and they've been listening to our guests tonight. What are the variables and concerns? For one of them, who's a major institutional investor and an economic analyst, as well as joining with a journalist who has a great new book out that's filling a true need, empowering women to make and use money wisely. John McNiff, founder and CIO of Motum Capital Management. He doesn't need those glasses. They just make him look smart. And Alison Kosik, former CNN business correspondent who covered the market for years and has taught me so much and is now the author of What's Up with Women and Money. Congratulations on the book, my friend. Johnny, thank you for jumping in. So let me start with you, John. You were listening to the labor secretary and then the politicians. I was surprised to hear Pete Sessions say that, you know, Republicans need to know a little bit more. What matters to you in terms of what these tariffs are doing in the markets?
So for me, the focus is on this increase in uncertainty, and which the markets will call increase in volatility. And the reaction to the tariffs has been a very dramatic spike in volatility, which is the VIX index has gone from 20 to 45 in the past 3 days. And then the reaction of the stock market, clearly, with the 5 trillion wipeout of value, NASDAQ gone into a bear market correction, S&P 17% off the highs, 11% lower in the past 2 days. Credit spreads in the corporate and high yield markets have all widened out. All of these are not positives for these policies. And that's even before you kind of look at kind of how these policies and this uncertainty is affecting the behaviors of the consumer and households and corporations.
So how do you process the sell proposition, Allison, from Trump of, well, this is what we have to do. We got to turn the screws, and it's only been a couple of days, no big deal.
It is a big deal if you're an investor in this market. We even saw some IPOs that were ready to go. They've postponed their IPOs. So you're seeing an immediate real world business impact just on the beginnings of these tariffs. And then, of course, I think the overarching reason why you're seeing this massive sell-off over the past 2 days is there's a concern about a recession, that the tariffs will have a real effect on the economy. JP Morgan increased its likelihood that a recession will happen from 40% to 60%. Why? Because what are these tariffs? They're a tax on consumers and businesses, and it's a big hit to the economy. And by targeting things that Americans buy, this causes a lot of disruption in the economy. So the thinking is, if these policies stay throughout the year, it could cause real damage to the economy and cause a recession. And I'm also hearing the S word being thrown around. I'm talking about stagflation. That's even worse, to have a recession with high inflation. That's an even stickier situation to get out of. It leaves the Fed with fewer tools to turn to, because if you go ahead and keep lowering interest rates, if I check my economics 101, that could stoke inflation even more.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, just to touch on that point,
very stimulated by that. Go ahead.
Well, if you look at the March FOMC meeting and look at the two highlighted risks that they all had as their risk to their outlook, there were 1, rising inflation, and 2, rising unemployment. Both of that plays into the stagflation scenario that the markets are worried about and was just mentioned. So the secretary is worried about it. The markets are worried about it. Consumers are worried about it because you're seeing it in your real big pocketbook on a daily basis. So that uncertainty and that scenario is a very concern for everybody.
First, never cut me off again when I'm about to ask you a question. Second, so what do you make of when the labor secretary said, hey, the workers know that this is for them? When are tariffs good for the workers and when not? What do you look at for that, John?
I think it's a blunt tool that can be used. And if you look, there are benefits to it. They will take time. But as a blunt tool, there's going to be reverberations that are most likely negative in the short term. And that's what we're trying to figure out. So if you look at the trade data, yeah, we have trade deficits with a lot of countries. There's a way to work through that. When Trump was in office the first time, he had tariffs on China. The markets absorbed that. They looked positively. Biden kept those tariffs in place. This is much different because he's coming at the global economy. He hasn't even tried to negotiate any different terms on trade. He's just coming and putting a sledgehammer down, and that's what I think the markets are seeing. They're anticipating that he would back off with the negative kind of stock reaction leading up to the tariffs. And when that did not happen on the 2nd, you saw this continued selling then that occurred as people really realizing that he's dug in on this this idea with the tariffs. So time will tell. I just think it's not the media reaction is fairly negative by the markets, fairly negative to the consumer, and it's more of a long-term game. But we'll see, how that plays out because we're in uncharted territory here.
So, Alison, John was explaining it to me earlier today about how, this is not something you usually do this broad and this deep. This is historic and not for good reason. Now, that gives him space to pull back. I thought it was really interesting to hear Pete Sessions say, Alison, I wish he would explain what he expects out of these. Usually you want that first. That's unusual to hear that from a real Republican, isn't it?
The politics aside, I mean, I've been hearing analogies being made to the massive sell-off we've seen in the market over the past couple of days, analogies being made to what we saw during COVID. And you look at what the Dow did today, this is the third biggest plunge it's had, 3 historic plunges, and the other 2 were during COVID. The difference is that this situation can be changed literally this weekend, Chris, if President Trump comes out and says, let's go ahead and do something else about this tariff situation. You'll see the market rally on Monday. The same thing couldn't be said for COVID. All of these situations are unprecedented, but the difference with this situation versus what we saw during COVID, those massive sell-offs, is President Trump can change this on a dime.
Hey, let me ask you this, Kosik. What's going on with women and money? What's this book about? Why should I have every female and male I know read it?
So I wrote this book because of my personal situation. As you know, I was CNN's business correspondent for 15 years, oftentimes reporting right from the New York Stock Exchange. But in my own life, I wasn't involved in my own personal financial, life. And this was when I started at CNN. And this was actually one of the biggest mistakes of my life, because when my marriage went bad, because I let my husband handle all things financial, I felt stuck in the marriage. I stayed in it years longer than I should have. I didn't have the experience of making big financial decisions, so I didn't have that confidence. And when I finally got out of that, I realized that there are a lot of women out there across the income spectrum making 6 figures or 5 or less, women who are ages 18 to 70, whether you're single, widowed, divorced, or married. Many women I found aren't fully involved in their financial lives. And this can lead to really bad outcomes. And this, Chris, isn't something that women talk about because it's embarrassing. There's a lot of shame with this. And there's a fear of being judged by our peers, that we can seem unintelligent. And that's just not the case. We're not incompetent or incapable of doing this stuff. We just don't have the experience of doing it. We're not confident.
I love it. We should do it on the podcast also, Alison, so I'll be in touch so I can help spread this as much as possible. It's very positive. The only thing I disagree with is, you're one of the most competent people I've ever been around. Life takes us in different directions, but you've always been able to handle your business, that's for sure.
Well,
Alison Kosik,
if I can just be clear, reporting on the markets about the macroeconomy, what I did at CNN and what I continue to do is very different from putting your own money in because there's a fear of losing it. I had 2 kids under the age of 10 years old at the time. The worry about making mistakes, that was the thinking.
No, very real, very good distinction. I ask John McNiff for financial advice all the time to help me. He won't do it. He's like, I only deal with big shots and investors. You're not worth it. You don't have enough money. Go sell pizzas. It has not had great advice for me, I'll be honest. But for everybody else, they seem to love him. John McNiff, I love you. Usually you only wear glasses, so I won't hit you in the face. But I liked seeing you with him tonight, and I love you giving me the benefit of your acumen.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one prediction for the night. This is going to be your best segment. This is going to be bad,
what he's about to say.
No, this is your best segment. Okay?
This is definitely my best segment.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely my best segment, and I hope you...
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.